up in the morning, gotta be fresh, gotta go downstairs, gotta have my bowl, gotta have cereal, seeing everything that time.
I was this years old when I realized she sings Waking Up at 7 a.m. How was I not playing that every 7 a.m. on a Friday?
I'm mad that you're doing it at all.
Oh, you don't want this stuck in your head the rest of the day?
I mean, it'll be fine.
Well, wait for the chorus to drop.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Ready?
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Did she ever have that septum surgery to open up her sinuses at all?
I think she did. There's another BuzzFeed video from four years ago that I sang this song, an interview with Rebecca Black. By the way, how many views do you think? This was 12 years ago this came out. How many views on YouTube do you think?
Oh, I'm sure it's in the multiple billions.
No, only 170 million views.
I'm surprised.
How many comments? 881,309 comments.
How many of them are saying this is when music was good?
Well, that's the thing.
This is real music.
Right, that's the thing. It made that turn where now it's like cool again, where it's like everyone crapped on it, but it's like, no, I remember when music was great, when Rebecca Black was out with her Friday song.
Yeah, I promise. You can pull up any song you want from any decade, and you won't have to scroll through 4 comments before somebody says, yeah, this is when music was good. And it can be like a Thompson Twins song or something just absolute garbage, you know.
The Kajagoogoo Too Shy.
Yeah.
This was a pinnacle of music right here.
Len, Hold My Sunshine, or Steal My Sunshine or something. Yeah, I promise you will look at that and people go, yeah, this is when music was music.
The Spin Doctors are the pinnacle of the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it cracks me up.
Yeah, the way it kind of is cyclical like that. It is Micah Molson with you here on WMAY. I wanted to share with you, I mentioned quickly on Monday that for the first time in my life, I helped to host a garage sale. And it was the first time I had ever done that. Like, my parents just were not garage sale people, didn't want to go through the rigmarole of setting it up or whatever. And our subdivision had their, neighborhood garage sale last weekend. And so our neighbor was like, hey, we're thinking about you want to throw some stuff in? And we did. I mentioned on Monday, I was prepared to just haggle the hell out of everything. I thought anyone who came to a garage sale immediately was just never going to pay sticker price. Like, that was the garage sale mantra. And that didn't happen. I was pleasantly surprised by that. The thing that did surprise me, though, and I wanted to share with you, I forgot to mention.
That's because Mike Winmacher has everyday low prices that you can count on. And the quality you deserve.
I'm like Bob's Discount Furniture. You're never going to see a lower price than this for quality items.
He has an educated staff who understand your needs.
It's like you write advertising. So the thing that did surprise me, though, in the garage sale was there was one item in particular that we had. It was a picnic basket that had been unused. And within the picnic basket was the bottom part of it basically was insulated, so you could put the cold stuff in there or, the hot, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. There were actual glass wine glasses inside. Like, when you opened it up, there were wine glasses. There was silverware. There were actual china plates. We never used it. We saw it, and we're like, oh, my God, that's great. And then we just never picnicked. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that gravitated to it, and I don't feel like we had it overpriced, gravitated to it, looked at it, and the amount of times I heard, oh, that's just too fancy.
Too fancy for the garage sailors.
And I wondered what that actually meant. Yeah. And there was a wine decanter was put out by our neighbor, like a crystal wine decanter, and they were like kind of next to each other, and everyone was just like, oh, this is the fancy table. Like, oh, this is too fancy. The price wasn't too like, that was something I never thought I would hear at a garage sale of someone going, that's too fancy.
Dude, I think people who go to garage sales are looking for a $1 air popper, because there's always a $1 air popper at every garage sale. I promise you there will be one. And they're looking for, an IKEA end table that they can get for $3.
Right.
And so, yeah, you bust out the fancy stuff like a picnic basket. And wine glasses.
It must have been 20 people. Everyone would come to him and be like, and they would all have the same reaction. Oh, my God, it's insulated on the bottom. Those are real wine glasses. Guess what's still in our home?
Well, what'd you have on that one?
15.
Oh, I'll buy that from you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Sold. See, at Mike's Discount Furniture.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that is a good deal. So that's what's surprising. And the lack of haggling. There was only a couple of items that were haggled upon. Mm-hmm. But
how quickly did you roll over?
Oh, so fast.
Yeah, take it.
Because I just wanted it. If it's in a garage sale, more than likely you don't want it in your home anymore.
Don't want to take it back in.
So there was, we were selling our hockey goal because haven't used that in a while. And so this was a great story, too. There is, since it's a neighborhood garage sale, there's garage sales around the area, and we're down at the end of the cul-de-sac. So I see out of the corner of my eye, I'm sitting there kind of watching our stuff or whatever. I see this young kid, probably about 10 years old, maybe 11, and he's just on a dead sprint from the previous garage sale. And he is just running at oh my God, he is so excited. He's running, because he's running to our hockey goal that we have on sale. And so he gets there, and he's so excited. And then he looks at the price, and I saw his poor little heart break. And he's like, And I was like, oh, no.
Did he say it was too fancy?
No. So he's just like, So then I see a car pull up, and it's his dad. And his dad comes striding over, and the kid's super excited. And then I hear him say, but it's $50. And the dad is like, well, let's see what we can do here. And so he comes up to me. He's like, will you take 40 on it? I'm like, sold. And the kid,
you take 40.
And the kid could not have been more excited. And the best part about it is,
could have said 12.
Right, and I would have been like, sold, because then he got to, we had like an indoor kind of pseudo ice surface that you can like practice stick handling inside, and we had that also listed as 50. And he turns to me and goes, what can you do for me on this? I go, $30. And he goes, I'll take it. So the kid was so excited. The best part was the kid just started playing ice hockey.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like it went to somebody but towards the end, Johnny, I actually started haggling my own prices. Yeah. Like people come up and look at it, and I just want it out of my house, and I'd be like, I'll take 10.
Sorry, that's too much money you're giving me.
Right, exactly. I'm like, I'll take 10. I'll take. Well, it's listed at 15. You know what? I'll take 10. I'll take 6. Hi, you're on WMAY.
Good morning. When our little town has like the village-wide garage sale, we call that free day at our house. We just take all of our stuff and sit it at the end of the driveway with a sign that says free. It's like, just take it because I want it out of my house.
Yeah, we had that happen. We actually had something we were selling, and when we went to pick it up, it kind of broke on us. And so we had to refund the money, but we did the same thing. We were just like, well, just slap a free, and I kid you not, later on that afternoon, gone. It was the greatest thing we did.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, we had people going, are you sure we can't pay you for this stuff? We're like, nope, take it. He's left.
That's awesome.
Keep moving. Yeah. Put it in the trunk. Keep moving.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, that's what we did with a couple items that didn't sell. My wife was just like, put it on the street corner, and somebody will grab it.
And wouldn't that, sometimes you buy something, you want a little bit of a extra, get some money back on it. But wouldn't it be great if we just had a citywide, do you want this stuff day?
Yes.
Just you put something on the lawn, you don't want it. If somebody gives you money, fine. If somebody just takes it, fine, and just says, you want this?
Yes.
Here, you can have this. Yeah. And just take it.
Because that's what garage sales really are.
Yeah.
It's you're making stuff, you're trying to make some money off things you don't want anyway. And I think that's why people haggle, because they know they got you up against it because it's there for a reason, so they want some money on it.
I don't own anything where I feel like this is an investment I need to recoup.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to make a couple of bucks or something, but even at that, it's just like, you want it? Do you want this?
My wife, God bless her, the first thing that sold in the morning was a set of 3 ceramic pots that she had. They were really nice pots. One had like a bit of a crack in it, so she sold them 3 for $10. And the amount of people, the first 3 people looked at it goes, oh, well, that second one has a crack in it. So, and they put it back down. And so finally one lady was like, I want these pots. And her husband's like, well, do you know the second one has a crack in it? She's like, I don't care. It's still only 2. It's 2 for $10. Right. Even, I can always glue that one up if I want to use it or turn that crack towards the house and it'll be fine.
Be a problem,
yeah, exactly. So, but the picnic basket, that was too fancy. We'll take a break. When we come back, science says, Johnny, that we're showering too much.
Oh.
We'll discuss your hygiene if you want to discuss it with us coming up on WMAY.
Hamburger.
Deal so good there, the people behind the Hyundais said no. You cannot hear Mr. Quimby. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. Hope to reconnect with him at some point this hour. 217-629-7970. That is the phone number joining the conversation. Are you an individual, Johnny, that needs to take a daily shower?
Yeah.
I feel that way too. Like, it's weird. I've reverted back to being, because of this new schedule, I'm back to being like a 10-year-old where I shower the night before instead of like starting my morning out with a shower.
You complain about it all the way? I want to take a stupid shower.
I do. I do.
Dirty anyway.
Exactly. Well, that's what science is saying. They're saying if you're not regularly exercising, if you just go to work, come home, sit around, not really breaking a sweat, you don't need to shower.
Yeah.
An environmentalist said, why are we washing? Mostly because we're afraid somebody else will tell us that we're smelling. A professor from Aalborg University in Denmark explains, we don't shower because of health. We shower because it's a normal thing to do.
Well, shower because of health. It's not necessarily a health thing.
Well, I think people do. So they need to try to, they need to get their germs off of them.
Gross off, yeah.
Yeah. Manhattan dermatologist Dr. Julie Russick has said that prolonged and daily showers can strip away the skin's microbiome.
Yeah, I've heard this argument many times.
Which plays a role in protecting the skin, is also extremely important in overall health of the body. And a chemist, David Whitlock, didn't shower for 12 years. Instead, he opted to spray himself with good bacteria.
You know what? I've interviewed this guy before.
You have? You interviewed chemist David Whitlock?
Yeah.
What was his reasoning behind?
It's the same kind of thing. Was that it was taking away the all of our natural protections and things, and that he had this magic spray that would do its job just as well as a shower.
Do you trust that?
I mean, if it were 1814, I might. I might have that conversation.
That's true. I guess I don't think about it in that historical context of before the running water was in our homes.
Yeah.
How often did our ancient relatives actually bathe themselves on a consistent basis?
Right, when you stood in a bucket and just sort of splashed water on yourself.
And you just kind of poured a ladle over yourself and took the old, underneath, just kind of, I'm people soup. And and how many people used that before you dumped said water?
Scrubbed your back with a celery stalk.
Right, that's exactly how you did it. So I don't think of it in that historical context, but we survived generations without showering every day. When did we flip the switch to, well, that's gross if you don't do it?
And there must have been a time in not long ago history before deodorant was invented when people that was just the smell around you, and I guess you didn't find it offensive. It was just what people smelled. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
And now
I am so glad we live today.
Yes, I've never been so thankful. I understand all the political divide. We try to be the oasis of Denver politics, but this
utopia.
This is
Xanadu right here.
Because have you ever just walked into a place that now, granted, I understand going to the ice rink, I'm going to get that smell. That's just what that is. But there was a time a few years ago where we walked into a Dave & Buster's that just smelled of like sweat and and it was awful.
Yeah.
And
children's feet.
Yes, we live in a society now where we don't have to put up. That used to be the norm.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a moment. Think about the worst BO place you've ever been to that you've just smelled, and then amplify that by 1,000,000. And that was no wonder our ancestors never smiled in pictures. They had to have that in their nostrils the entire time.
Yeah. I don't even know what they did. I mean, did they just like rub an apple under their arm or something, or just
stick some onions in their boots?
Just something to change it? I have no idea.
To soak up off, you know what? And by the way, with the advent of deodorant and whatnot, have you seen now more of people with the deodorant for all over?
Yeah, that's becoming more and more popular.
That's become more and more popular. They all over
deodorize everything.
Exactly. I don't know if I want deodorant going down there. to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that much problem with the smell emanating or people being privy to it that I would need to deodorize that particular area. Hi, you're on WMAY.
Morning, gentlemen. I believe there's been studies that have been done that show that women are actually attracted to the musky odor of men. Like they did where they had men that had deodorant and men that didn't.
Yeah.
And they've shown the women these shirts afterwards, and the guys maybe did a workout or something like that. And the vast majority of the women found the smell of the guy with no deodorant more attractive than the guys with deodorant.
Yeah, I've seen this too.
The pheromones. Appreciate the phone call.
I've seen this too, and I've seen where, they will, on one hand, give a shirt to a woman. He's like, oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. This is awesome. And give it to a guy, and he gets mad, like a dog. Somebody else is around here. So, yeah, it is fascinating, and I'm sure we are.
There's something about pheromones. And the musky smell.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that. Yeah. I feel like, because I just feel gross. If I don't shower, I just feel gross.
Have you noticed the flavors of deodorant these days? I mean, I can never quite get a handle on what it might smell like.
Sandalwood and vanilla.
Yeah, this one.
Mahogany and black cherry.
Tree bark and cigars.
Yeah, I don't really care for that.
I don't know what. I'm not even sure what that's going to be.
I hate to admit this, and my wife is going to. Thank God she's not listening. You know how I choose my deodorant? Which one's the cheapest?
The cheapest.
Hi, you're on WMAY.
Hey, so since COVID, I've stopped wearing deodorant, and I actually like it a lot better.
Yeah.
There's so many toxins in deodorant. There's a lot of aluminum. You can find it without it, but there's a ton of toxins in deodorant.
I know it's a problem with antiperspirant. Has aluminum in it, yeah.
Yeah, but I found my body sweats better. It keeps itself cool. I can work out harder and longer. It's just... I've been very happy not wearing deodorant, but I have to shower like twice a day sometimes.
That is the trade-off.
Well, I'm
Appreciate the phone
thankful
call.
you're on the phone.
Yes, exactly. Not here, because I have a feeling you may be on your way or coming back from your morning workout, but appreciate the phone call there. Yeah, I go for the cheapest deodorant. I used to be like, oh, no, I must always get Degree.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, whatever is the cheapest.
So what, he just gets like a baking powder and throw it under there or some baking soda?
Yeah, no, it's just like usually Speed Stick.
Oh, okay.
That's usually the cheapest is what I go.
Arid?
Yeah, I go extra dry. Sometimes I'll buy Secret. It's strong enough.
Sure.
It's strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. But if it's strong enough for a man, why don't I use it if it's cheaper than anything else? I like to smell floral from time to time. It is Mike and Molson here with you on WMAY. Take a break for news. We come back. Did you hear the story about this comedian? I think it's Arj Baker is his name.
Okay.
He's an American comedian that was at a comedy festival in Australia, and he is all over the news for how he handled a situation in the crowd concerning a mom. We'll discuss coming up on WMAY. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY on this Friday, having a good time. That's what we try to do with this bit of nonsense that is this show. Although this is a somewhat, I don't want to say serious conversation, but this comedian is in serious hot water over the way he handled a situation that took place at a comedy festival in Australia. It's a comedian by the name of Arj Barker, A-R-J Barker. I don't know much of his material, but what transpired was he's an American comic, and he's down in Australia, and he's at this comedy festival, and he's on stage. It's a Saturday night performance, and all of a sudden, this mom is there with her 7-month-old daughter, and the baby, according to mom, basically what transpires is she starts breastfeeding the child in the midst of his stand-up routine. He then says, "Ma'am, could you please leave?" And,
boy.
And so that's where the hot water comes. So here's from the perspective of the mom in question. She says her baby was giggling and gurgling occasionally during the show, and that she began breastfeeding when Clara started to whinge. It was then, she claims, that Barker stood in front of her and, speaking on the microphone, was basically saying that I was interrupting his rhythm and I should leave.
Oh, no.
Then he turned to the crowd to get support from them to say, "Get out."
Oh God.
She said, "Now this is from the woman's. We'll get his perspective." She said some women seated near her encouraged her to stay, while other audience members jeered at her as she walked out. Feeling too uncomfortable remaining at the show, she said it was quite humiliating. Another person in the audience said it was really awkward when the Flight of the Conchords star. So I guess he's one of the Flight of the Conchords guy, Arj Barker.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't recognize him there.
So another person in the crowd said it was really awkward when he asked her to go, even though the baby was making a bit of noise, as babies do. They were shocked to see people heckling the woman as she left. So that's her perspective. She's saying, kid was already there. First of all, there is some question of, what are you doing bringing a 7-month-old to a Saturday night comedy show? There is some question there, but sure. that is your prerogative if that's what you want to do. And so that's the woman's perspective who got asked to leave by the comedian.
Okay.
All right.
And he says what?
Yeah. In an Instagram post Monday, Barker gave his side of the story in a statement under the heading, "Babygate, let's clear the air." He says the venue was pretty full and everyone seemed to be in a great mood. Then I heard a baby, not crying, but quote unquote talking as they do, a few rows from the stage. I made a few jokes about the baby not disrupting my show, and they were well received. Then I moved on. A few minutes later, Barker wrote the baby called out again. He says, "Now I was quite concerned," he wrote. "In my experience of doing comedy for nearly 35 years, an audience's focus is a delicate thing. Mm-hmm. If a noise or movement distracts people mid-joke, the payoff can be greatly diminished." He said it was at that juncture, with around 50 minutes of the show remaining, he made a difficult decision. I then calmly informed the woman holding the baby that the baby couldn't stay. I felt bad doing so and stated this at the time, as well as several times throughout the remainder of the show. As she was leaving, I offered for her to get a refund as a gesture of goodwill. So he's saying, I wasn't trying to be an a-hole, but it's a rhythm, it's timing. This baby was keeping to make noises. It may be affecting the rest of the set.
Audience,
yeah, exactly. He described his decision as a very tough call he made on behalf of the other 700 or so audience members who deserved to see the show they had paid for, quote, uninterrupted. He also said that he feels it's fair to point out that, as is clearly stated on the ticket purchase, the show was strictly for audiences 15 and above, and that the theater should have flagged this before seating her, but for some reason they did not. So now he's volleying it back and saying, listen, I'm not a bad guy for saying for her, this mom, to leave with her baby. It was on the venue. I was just trying to uphold the piece of the show, and it's the venue's fault that she got in here in the first place.
And as with everything like this, the truth is probably someplace in the middle. It probably wasn't as ugly as the mom says. It probably wasn't as delicate as he's suggesting. And yeah, you got to wonder why they would have let a baby into the venue in a comedy scene. If it is a venue of 700 people, you'd think there'd be ushers.
Yeah,
people,
right, exactly. Checking at the door,
checking on this.
Unless
thing.
she was sneaking in a baby, like you would sneak in like some snacks to a movie theater. Like no one's gonna know about that. Yeah,
she's got it strapped to her ankle.
Now he also goes on to say that it's blatantly false to suggest that his decision had anything to do with her breastfeeding, because he claimed he couldn't see well enough to know if she was or wasn't due to the bright lights in his eyes and the audience being seated in the dark. He said, this all has to do with the audio disruption of my show, nothing more.
Yeah.
He said, for the record, I support public breastfeeding as it's perfectly natural. So he's saying, to your point, it's not as ugly as you probably think, but context is not something we're great in anymore, of nuance.
And not every comedian can do this, but some of the best ones who are able to do crowd work figure out a way to work it into the act, make it fun for everybody, be playful about it, and maybe she gets the hint or something. The worst thing is to see a comic get off his game and say, yes, ma'am, you have to leave. And it's just like, yeah, you want to talk about killing the mood.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's concerned about an audio disruption and comedy is rhythm and everything else, to stop down the show and say, I'm sorry, ma'am, you and your baby have to go. Like, that takes you out of the moment. And the fact that, if he did, in fact, what the mother said, kind of get the crowd to also try to agree with him, like, hey, don't you think this baby needs to leave? I feel like that's a little bit over the line.
Yeah, it is. And unless we hear from other audience members who were there and saw the whole thing go down, I mean, we may never know the answer to this thing.
Yeah.
It's fair to say, what the heck, you bringing a baby?
Well, right, yeah. There's a lot of, I don't want to say blame, but there's a lot of kind of just off to go around in this thing.
You know, if I would feel so much better if he said, hey, not my proudest moment. And if she said, you know what, on second thought, probably should have had the baby there. And then we can all kind of go, okay, just things got off the rails. Yeah. And unfortunately, we just get these two polarizing. I mean, they couldn't be more different stories.
Right. She's saying he kind of berated me and like made me feel like I was less than for actually doing something perfectly natural with my baby. And he's saying...
And he's making it sound like he got off stage and tried to rock the baby to sleep himself.
Exactly.
Burped her.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to take the baby on stage and that she could stay there and I was going to take care of the baby. And then I
signed
offered...
adoption papers,
exactly. All that kind of stuff. I made sure...
to be a surrogate father.
I told the bar out front, could you warm up some milk to the right temperature? This baby is hungry. So she didn't.
Know.
Yeah,
we'll never know what the hell happened there.
At least he's offering a refund, I guess. So, but even that's not going to be good enough for some people.
Did the baby buy a ticket?
I don't think that's the other thing.
Now we got a problem.
Now we got it. That's my big issue.
Mom can stay. Baby's got to go.
Sorry, baby, you got to sit out in the car by yourself.
Right.
You don't have no ticket.
With the windows rolled up.
Yeah, exactly. No ticket, no entry. That's your punishment, baby. You should know better. Y'all looking all cute and adorable, thinking that's just going to open doors for you. Not here, not now. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. We'll take our final break of the 7 o'clock hour. We come back. Why you should use the weekend to try to catch up on sleep. Finally, I'm being validated. So much yelling. Just out of nowhere.
Easy there, Broderick.
Yeah, just would you rather prefer this?
Oh, there you go.
There, that's better. Oh, but it's Friday. I always hate playing that Bernie drop on a Friday. It is Mike and Molson with you here on this Friday, April the 26th. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. Even before this change of schedule, which was supposed to be on a less than permanent basis that it's on. It was supposed to be interim.
Yeah,
but
I think you were supposed to fill in for 4 days. Was that what it was?
I had told them I'll do this in the interim, and apparently I forgot they must have heard indefinite instead of interim because we just celebrated 6 months last week.
Congratulations!
Yes, thank you.
Did they forget they have a radio station here? Is that what's happening?
That could be as well. I'm not quite sure.
I'm getting that feeling sometimes.
They probably go, isn't that guy just an offshoot of Killmeat or Buck and Clay or Clay Buck or whatever it may be? But we are not. We're the oasis in a desert of politics. So even before this change in sleep schedule, I was always an individual who would sleep in on the weekends. And I understand that's a luxury that most don't get because of different things, obligations, kids, whatnot, whatever it may be. But science is now backing me up. There is a new study that shows that people who enjoy longer weekend catch-up sleep, meaning they sleep more on the weekends, because there's always also those people saying, no, you stick to the same sleep schedule, because if you do, then it's something different on the weekend. It's going to throw everything off. Pshaw with those people, because we are significantly less likely to be depressed. The association was notably stronger among men, individuals under the age of 65, and those who sleep fewer hours on weekday. What? It's like they're following me around.
Yeah.
Are you an individual who tries to sleep in on the weekend, or do you keep the same consistent sleep schedule, or do you just wake up when you wake up?
I don't intend to keep the same schedule, but I just kind of wake up and I'm up anyway normally. But yeah, but I also know that sensation of you sleep in until it's 9 or 10 o'clock or something. You go, that was the most glorious thing that ever happened in my life just now.
Yeah, and I sometimes I do feel bad because especially as we get into the spring, like in the winter, I'm like, I'll hibernate like a friggin' bear.
Right.
Like what's out there that I need to do? But when it gets nicer outside and you kind of roll over and it's like 9:15, you're like, I'm still going to go. I'm going to roll back over again.
Right.
And like when you wake
Your
up.
neighbors have already finished cutting their grass.
Oh, that's the worst. I try not to get upset by that. right? Like I have a strict policy of nothing before noon on the weekends. That's just the way I feel, just to be nice to everyone else. But like when it's 11 and they start mowing the lawn, I can't really get upset.
Yeah.
It's like I roll over like, oh, what? It's 11 a.m. It's fine. So, but I very much am like, I'm going to sleep in and 217-629-7970, the phone number. You're right. There is something that's just satisfying about, and I understand.
You feel like a king. You feel like a king.
Exactly. They say overall, those who slept longer on weekends tended to exhibit lower levels of depressive symptoms. Study participants who slept 1 or 2 hours longer on weekends had fewer depressive symptoms compared to those who did not engage in weekend catch-up sleep. They're approximately 38 to 46% less likely to exhibit depressive symptoms just because you get more sleep in there.
I have believed for years that we could bankrupt the entire energy drink industry by just going to bed. I mean, I think if we slept like normal people, went to bed at a reasonable time, got up at a reasonable time, there would be no reason for Monster or
Red
Boost
Bull
or whatever. There's all this stuff.
Prime.
Yeah. What was that one? There was.
No, there's so many. Nitro or whatever is another one, or whatever it may be.
Where you go, God bless. We wouldn't need that if we just rested like regular people, but we just don't. We don't.
Here's the thing. I should be used to this by now, but I refuse to stop. Like, I've gotten better. It used to be my normal bedtime in my previous schedule would probably be anywhere from like 10:30 to 11:30. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a little bit better, but it's still hard for me to go to bed before 10 o'clock because in the back of my mind, I remember my parents, and they had a little bit later starting schedule. They were normal. Well, I say normal, but my dad's shift would change from time to time depending on the police department. But I always remember they would make it a point they had to watch the 10 o'clock news. Mm-hmm. So my parents would not go to bed until 10:30. And so in my mind...
They didn't watch Carson's monologue?
No. Sometimes like on a Friday or whatever it may be. But in my mind, I do not want to admit that I'm as old or older than my parents. So in my mind, it's like, if I'm going to bed, like to your point, I should be going to bed at 9 o'clock to get, the 7 hours of sleep or whatever it takes to be on this schedule. But I feel like that's giving up for some reason. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that. It's just like, there's just too much to do. I'm going to miss out on things. And it's like, you're right. If you would just listen to your body and go to bed when you're tired. But we never shake that. From a child to an adult, you'll be like, I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to do that.
And we all know what to do. We all know, put the phone in the other room, settle down, quiet the thing down,
Yeah.
But man, we just push and push and push until we collapse.
Yes.
And then the alarm goes off way too early.
Yes.
And then we stop at the gas station and we get, a coffee in this hand and a Red Bull in the other hand. And by 11 o'clock, we're doing more of that stuff. It's like, I don't know what we're doing to ourselves, but here we are.
Yes.
Here we are just the same.
Well, it's so funny because, I mentioned at the top of the hour the garage sale, and I was like, I was bemoaning the fact. I'm like, we're going to open this garage sale at 8 a.m. I gotta get
8 a.m.?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys started late.
I was like, I got to get up early. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I'm actually sleeping in 2 hours later than I normally would. Like, what am I bitching about in that particular instance? And that hasn't hit me yet either. Of if I do have to get up early for something on the quote unquote early on the weekend, it still hasn't hit me and sunk in that it's not early anymore because the way I get up during the weekday, it's actually still sleeping in. It just, but it's cutting into my ability to stay up for reasons I don't need to. It's like, what YouTube rabbit hole do I need to consume until 1 a.m.?
Yeah, we beat ourselves up. Man, and you say you should be used to it by now. I did morning shows for years in my career, and it takes a while to get used to it. I've never gotten unused to it, so I'm still an early riser, I think, because of doing mornings for so long.
No, does that mean I got this to look forward to?
No. They'll find a replacement for you any day now.
Oh, that is
any day now.
That's out of all the 2 hours we do, that's probably the best joke we'll hear.
I'm sure someday they'll walk down the hallway and go, oh, that's right, we got a radio station here.
Oh, there's that guy.
Oh, there's people. Oh, yeah.
It's this guy's just blathering away. We read real hard-hitting news on this station.
I thought we were in the blog business.
Yeah, not this this gentleman pushing his own podcasts and stuff.
Jeez.
Talking about frivolities like sleep. There's a lot of news going on in this world. Like the ones coming up here at ABC in the top of the hour on WMAY. All right. I like the vibe we're setting with this on a Friday. Mike and Molson with you on this Friday, April the 26th. Appreciate you tuning in to this ridiculousness. We got a follow-up story to start the hour.
Do tell.
Because remember back in the day, we had found out about the phenomena of the auto brewery syndrome.
Oh, sure, yeah.
We got another dude who got out of a DUI because he could scientifically prove that he had the auto brewery system.
Is that right?
And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is the rare condition whereby the body produces alcohol from your gut.
Yes.
And we had said that if you do get pulled over at all, please do not use that as an excuse and say you heard it on the Mike and Molson show to try to get out of your own DUI. But this guy over in Brood, I don't even know how to say this name, Anis Gisquire.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Said on Monday that in another unfortunate coincidence, her client worked at a brewery, but 3 doctors who independently examined him had confirmed he had ABS. So he gets pulled over and for drunk driving because he's been working at a brewery. And they're like, the authorities like, I've been testing the product I see, huh? And he's like, I haven't had a drop of alcohol. And so his defense was, I got auto brewery system where my gut just makes me drunk all the time. The Belgian media said in the verdict that the judge emphasized that the defendant, who was not named in line with the local judicial custom, did not experience symptoms of intoxication. So he seemed fine. It's just his blood alcohol level was high because of the auto brewery syndrome. The court, which acquitted the man, did not immediately reply to an email requesting comment. A clinical biologist with the Belgian hospital said people with ABS produce the same type of alcohol as found in alcoholic drinks, but that they generally felt less of its effects. Mm-hmm. Is it something you would want? Where you're constantly like, you're getting the effects of alcohol, but you're not feeling like. What happens when you drink and you already have the ABS? Such
a weird phenomenon too that your gut yeast can get you schnockered.
Yeah, the auto brewery syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happens when those people drink. Like,
I don't know either.
How do you tell the difference between, this is different than... Because obviously they're not feeling the effects to where this guy showed no signs of intoxication and your body learns to deal with it, and extremely rare. But I just don't know if that guy goes out and has a rager.
Right.
Do you get hungover worse? Like, what are the effects if I already have ABS?
If you have... auto brewery syndrome in your stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us a call. We'd like to hear what your experience has been like.
Yeah, people are not born. Okay, this is interesting. People are not born with ABS, but can develop it when they already have another intestine-related condition. Mm-hmm. Patients can present with symptoms consistent with alcohol intoxication, such as slurred speech, stumbling, loss of motor function, dizziness, and belching. So if all of a sudden you start burping more.
Right.
Yeah, but
you smell like bad whiskey.
The other part of that is, how do you go into your doctor with those signs and go, pardon me, doc, I think I may have auto brewery. Like, how do you even bring that up to your physician that you feel like I swear, because they're not going to it's hard to, I would imagine, if you have it and suffer it, to be taken seriously when you first go to get diagnosed with it.
Yeah, it's one of the funnier diseases we've discovered.
Oh, God, yes, exactly. Out of all the diseases out there, that's the one I would want the most. If I have to have any type of affliction in my life, I would want auto brewery syndrome instead.
And do we know if you take a breathalyzer or something? Is
that's what it is? Yeah. That's what happened here.
That's what happened there, yeah.
They pulled the guy over because they felt like he was driving a bit erratically. They did the field sobriety test. He was fit as a fiddle. Blew the breathalyzer, and all of a sudden, above the blood alcohol content, and
stupid drunk intestines got him in trouble.
Exactly. It was his auto brewery syndrome was the thing that caused him to be inebriated.
I love that. Just a strange quirk of nature and evolution is that you make beer in your stomach unwillingly.
I'm surprised there's not been somebody out there with the ABS that is like, how do I tap my gut? and make it like the finest craft beer ever.
Yes.
It's like, can you take some of my bile and put it in there, or some of my, digestive fluids to start the yeast making process of the beer?
You know it's going to show up at one of those, like a Portland brewery someplace.
That's what I'm saying.
Some classy place.
Some super craft breweries out there is going to
be a name.
This is going to go for podcast, and the next thing you know,
Stomach.
Yeah, exactly. Dave's Stomach Brew, and here's the thing: all Dave did was eat barley and hops for an entire week to go along with the digestive fluids in his stomach, and we have this fantastic triple IPA from his ABS for you to enjoy here with an ABV. So many letters, and people would flock to try it.
Yeah, and 80% of the people who go to those trendy craft beer places, they don't know what they're buying. They don't know an IPA from a porter from a stout. And that one's got a funny name. It's called Steve's Stomach.
Yeah, I want that one. And by the way, what's a double IPA or like a triple IPA?
Yeah, basically it's like you're chewing oats.
Oh, okay.
They pretty much just put oatmeal in a glass and give it to you.
At some point, they're just juicing the hops and barley and throwing in a little bit of alcohol in there, like rubbing alcohol. Be like, here, drink this.
Yeah, it's not even liquid anymore.
Exactly. Do you enjoy eating garden? Well, he have a triple IPA for you. You're going to love it. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. We will take a break for news, and we come back. Great question from Reddit of, what is the most cringe thing you ever seen someone do in public? Because I've seen some cringe. And
we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click. It's real easy, man.
Thank God for the internet. I don't know what I would have as topics to discuss on this show without it. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY this Friday morning, April the 26th, 217-629-7970. That is the phone number. Want to hear from you because this is from the wonderful world of Reddit. Whereas, ask anything, ask Reddit. People just throw out these questions and Reddit responds in kind. So we're asking you the same. What's the cringiest thing you've ever seen someone do in public? We heard the kids talk about, oh, that's cringe. What is the cringiest thing you've seen someone do in public? At 217-629-7970. Here are some of the responses from Reddit to kind of prime the gears to kind of get you thinking what's cringe. This one says, saw a guy propose at a packed sports game. She said no, and the camera was on them. The whole stadium saw it go down.
Wow.
The no on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
That's why you don't do that in a public setting.
Man.
Who's
that for?
Right. It's not for the woman.
No.
I don't know a single woman out there that wants a proposal on a Jumbotron I don't care how much you both love the team.
Yeah.
There's no woman that wants that. Not one.
Well, yeah, unless you'd have to just tightly coordinate that with her, and I don't know, man. That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah. Any type of public proposal for the most part is pretty cringe. Someone said, I watched someone try to start a flash mob in the mall, but no one but no one joined in, and they did it all by themselves.
God, remember when that was all the thing?
Oh yeah, you had to be part of the flash mob.
Let's go make a flash mob. And,
yeah, exactly. Learn the dance moves, then come out to the flash mob.
You're just harassing people who are going about their day. They don't want you to sing Les Miserables all over the place.
I think that is. I don't know if that's cringe or sad.
It's
all of it. They can be kind of the same. So 217-629-7970. What's the most cringe thing you've seen people do in public? I think the most cringe is when you see, and I understand there's no romance in this. I was going to say you like to keep the romance alive in relationships, but when you see couples that are of an age that know they shouldn't be sloppily making out in public, that to me is always the most cringe thing you can do, is when you see that couple at the bar and they can barely put words together, and then the next thing you know, it's just, and it's always loud and it's gross.
It is.
And they just keep doing it, and then they push the envelope and you see him start grabbing, and you're just like, get a freaking room. Like, I don't mean to be a prude, but you know better.
Yeah, because it's not romantic. It's usually like it's two divorcees
Yes.
who've been like in their fourth marriage or whatever. They don't even intend to be together. They
No.
just happen to be sitting next to each other on bar stools.
Yep.
And they've had too many.
Exactly.
And they are off to the races.
Yeah, isn't that the most cringe thing? You just want to, and I don't mean to be prude. And like I said, there's something about.
I mean, so, if you're just like canoodling and being cute, and I think
Right.
you can walk past that, no big deal.
That's one thing if it's a couple of smooches, but when it gets to full on, just when you hear the sounds from a distance.
Yeah.
And you look, and usually, and I don't mean to prejudge, but usually it's the leathered skin individuals too that just been way out in the sun too long, and you're just like, oh no,
Yeah,
no,
their clothes still look like 1992.
yeah, it's
and
just like no,
everything's wrong.
it's just super cringe. Just leave it
Just
alone.
Arms are going every place like an octopus.
Right, exactly. And the other fear is it's going to be like the Tasmanian devil. If you walk by it, you'll get caught up in it. And they'll be like, oh, somebody else. Like,
what happened here?
The next thing you know, there's tongues in your ear. You're like, I don't know what happened to me. It's like,
bad
that
news.
to me is the most public cringe there can be. 217-629-7970. The most cringe thing you've seen someone do in public. Do you have any things that you can remember off the top of your head, or things that you find cringy in public?
Has anybody figured out the need to use your speakerphone while you're walking around?
That is pretty cringe.
I'm not sure I fully understand
What you're doing?
I mean, I'll use speakerphone if I need to, if I'm typing and talking at the same time, or I need to do, whatever.
In a private setting.
But I don't understand, like, it's a walkie-talkie.
That's true.
And it's so bizarre because it's always like in a grocery line, or
Yes.
and it's never just a hey, how you doing? What's going on with the kids?
No,
I mean,
it's
there
stuff
is
you don't need to hear.
There is like some full-on throttle up argument going on.
It's either that, or have you ever had this happen with the same thing, and you're standing in the line and you're like, yeah, so we heard that Martha's got cancer.
Right.
And you're like, why do I need it? I feel bad for Martha now.
Yeah.
Would you tone it down?
Either one or the other person is really mad and they're screaming, and I mean, okay, you're having it, but it's just you just put it on your ear so we don't have to all. Well, how does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't understand how that happens.
That is pretty
I
cringe.
don't want anyone to hear anything.
No. Somebody else said the cringe thing they saw was a grown 40-year-old man yelling at a 16-year-old girl at a Burger King because his food was taking too long, even though it was only her and one cook back there. And he saw that coming in and could have easily went to a different restaurant, but he screamed at a teenage girl and made her cry.
Well, I tell you, temperature's getting warmer, and we're going to start seeing sandals out there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just saying, pedicure.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are some gnarly feet walking around.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe. That, and I'm still cringe with, unless you are going to an athletic endeavor, right? If you're going to play basketball at the Y, or going into a gym setting, or going into the ice rink, don't wear socks with sandals, especially those that are brown or black.
Right.
Hi, you're on WMAY.
Hi, you caught me with the phone thing. That drives me insane. Even though I do want to say at your previous cringe, old people still need to get it on too. But
Not in public.
let's get back to
Not in public.
get back to-
Get it on all you want. But
Yeah, get it on. But
you should at least use 2 bar stools when you're at the bar, not one.
Right, exactly.
But back to the phone thing. That drives me insane. And I don't know if I've reached a certain point in my life, but I will now walk by them and I will make a comment just loud enough that they can hear it. Thank you for sharing the conversation with
Right.
us.
Nice.
And just keep walking. I get a lot of stink eyes because of that.
No, but
one's ever turned around and confronted me about it, but I am a person of fairly decent size, so I kind of scare people probably.
Good for you.
But yeah, I don't hesitate now to walk by and drop it and say it, make a comment. It just, I don't
like that.
understand it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to know what's going on in your life.
Yeah, you're not that important to me. So I appreciate the phone. I appreciate the phone call, and I like your idea of just doing the drive-by comment if
Yeah.
that happens to
Make
let
a
everyone
noise
know.
like you're at a strip club or something.
Right, exactly. Woo, yeah, something along those lines. Here's one. This kind of goes off what I said about and I'm not against old people doing it. I'm eventually in a few years going to be one of those old people, hopefully, but not in public. Don't be doing that. Kind of like this. This person says the most cringe thing they saw in public was at the grocery store. Guy in front of me in the checkout line smacks his wife in the old behind as they were paying, not in a playful manner, but in a fashion that would expect in the bedroom.
Wow.
Super aggressive with it. Made me extremely uncomfortable. Not overly surprising considering they were both wearing designer clothes and gave off rich vibe. I don't know what that means by it, but he just kind of gave it the old smack in the keister.
Some people you can look at and you can tell they're swingers.
Yes. The makeout people at the bar and the ass smackers at the grocery store like that, you're just like, those people have a cart full of pineapple.
Swingers are never the swingers you see on the Playboy channel either.
No, it never is. Yeah. It's always just the people where you go. It's the people that you would least want to see naked are always those that are like most free with like, hey. Here's one, the final thing here from Reddit. There was a couple in a restaurant beside us. He fed her from his dish. She ordered nothing. And he was obviously really uncomfortable with the situation, just sitting there basically by himself, eating, feeding his girlfriend, date, whatever, while she was permanently on her phone, taking selfies and complaining about the food. It was cringe and sad at the same time.
She's a baby bird or something.
Right, exactly. Well, I got to get my selfie in. Feed. That is pretty cringe. So, just if you're going to make out, go back to the car. It's okay for the smooch, but don't make out at the bar, please.
Or bartender.
Yeah, God, because then they got to be like, do I cut them off here or what's going on? It's just awkward for everybody. We'll take a break for news, and when we come back, $2 bills. There is a bank teller who took to the internet and gave 9 reasons why you should never ask for one.
Oh, wow, good.
We'll fill you in coming up on WMAY. I feel like with this song in the background, I should only have one headphone on with the record scratch in there because that's what DJs do. It is Mike and Molson with you here on this Friday, April the 26th. Appreciate you tuning in. $2 bills. I don't know why we always... when I was younger, and even to this day, like when I went through my parents' house when they passed on, there was $2 bills everywhere. I don't know why we hold on to them as if they're ever going to be worth more than $2. Did you have that phenomenon too where you get one, you're like, oh, this seems so novel. I have to hold on to it because it's going to be worth some money. Yeah, $2.
Yeah. No, I don't think I ever thought it was going to be worth anything special. It was novel. It was neat. As you're talking about this, I'm suddenly thinking, it's like, what did we collectively as a society think the benefit of a $2 bill was going to be?
Betting at racetracks, I think, is probably why it came in vogue. Yeah. Because you didn't want to use 2 singles or get change back or anything.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those experiments that we did.
Like the Sacagawea?
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you this. Would you rather get $10 in change in $2 bills or 10 Sacagawea coins?
Man, that's a good question.
5 2s or 10 Sacagaweas?
Because either way, yes, it's all currency and you can hand it out and do whatever you want. But when you give it to a cashier or something, they're just going to look at you and go, I got to handle. There's not even a place in the drawer for it.
Right. But the weird thing is, like, last year around this time, we're getting ready to go to Japan. They love using coins over there. Yeah. They got up to 500 yen coins. They'd actually, and it's like, and they don't think anything of it for you to just hand them the coin. And you're like, cool,
and it
ready
makes
to roll.
Sense. Dollar currency, paper currency, excuse me. It doesn't last as long. It's dirty. It tears. It falls apart. And so, using coins makes a lot more sense. It's heavy. And it's an inconvenient. But I understand it.
Yeah, because like we would break a bigger yen bill, and it would be like all coins. You're like, no pay, nope, just here you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Between the $2 bill and the Sacagaweas, I always feel weird. Like I know it's still currency. Yeah. There's been a couple of times where I've used something that will kick out the dollar coins as change. Like when I put and I'm like, damn it, I didn't think about it. And then I'm on vacation at a hotel, and I'm out of small bills, and I'm like, am I going to have to leave Sacagaweas for the housekeeping? like what are they going to do? They look at it and go, did he leave me candy? Like you're so unaccustomed to seeing it. So this bank teller took the internet and said, to hell with $2 bills. Bless you. Here's 9 reasons why you should not ask for $2 bills ever.
Okay,
all right.
Get it.
Number 1. They most likely don't have them.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know a $2 bill exists, so we don't keep a lot of them around. When someone asks for them, we usually have to special order them, which is honestly a pain in the butt.
Oh, God, really?
Special order a $2 bill. They also say there's no room in the drawer for them. There's not a space. Like you mentioned, our cash drawers are set up for bills we use every day. You know, 1s, 5, 10s, 20s. We don't have a specific spot for $2 bills, so we just have to stick them wherever they fit. Mm-hmm. Also, someone says the other reason why to not ask for $2 bills, they put a wrench in our flow. That's not a sentence I thought I'd hear a bank teller say, that they put a wrench in our flow. The same amount sound a little goofy, but when we're counting out cash, we're in a total zone. We're used to dealing with the standard bills, but you throw $2 bills in the mix, it's like hitting a speed bump. Because you go, oh, crap, now I got to count this as 2. They baffle the newbies.
Yeah.
A lot of newer tellers have never even seen a $2 bill. When someone shows up, they might think it's a fake or a misprint. I've had to hop on someone else's line to help clear it up more than once. It just slows everything down.
Crazy.
They also say, on top of that, people think they're fake because people don't see them. They're more likely to be saved than spent. When people do get their hands on a $2 bill, they tend to hold on to it like it's a 4-leaf clover. That's a phenomenon I have.
Yeah.
Why we do, I have no idea. They think it's cool or lucky. That's great and all, but it just means these bills aren't really circulating. They're just gathering dust in people's keepsake collections. They also say they can be hard to get rid of. If business does end up with a bunch of $2 bills, they often bring them right back to the bank. Then we're stuck with a surplus of bills that no one wants.
I'm looking at the U.S. Treasury's website right now. $2 bills still being printed, still in circulation. We still make them.
Why?
I don't know why.
How many are we circulating? It doesn't seem like we're circulating that much of them.
Printing $2 bills is half as expensive for the government as printing $1 bills.
Then what?
Since they both cost the same amount to manufacture, but the public has not circulated them wildly.
Then why do we still...
$2 bills supposedly acquired negative reputation as they were allegedly widely used for controversial transactions such as betting on horse racing.
See, that's why...
Strip clubs.
Oh, you know what? You walk into a strip club and you throw 2s on there.
They think it's a 20, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And allegedly for bribery when politicians were seeking votes.
Here's a $2 bill.
Yeah. Servicemen were frequently paid with $2 bills during World War II.
Interesting. The other reasons they say to not ask for a $2 bill, they can slow down transactions because it's disrupting the flow, and they're just not worth the fuss. At the end of the day, $2 bills just aren't practical for most people. They're not widely used, and the odds of you getting one of the mythical ones that's worth a ton of money are super slim. Sure, they're cute and quirky, but let's be real, it's cash. Get the kind that people actually want, and not just one that people go, oh, look, a $2 bill. Hi, on WMAY.
So in Canada, they do have the $2 coin. They call it a loonie and a toonie.
Okay.
So they have a $1 coin and a $2 coin.
Yep.
And there's just a big duck on it. And, you know, it's Canada, so they're just weird.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Mike. Take it to the strip club.
That was Johnny saying, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was you. Anyway, would the dancer work twice as hard because it's double the money?
Yeah, I don't know. Or if they'll look at you and be like, please, sir, no play money. Appreciate the phone call there, DJ. The loony and the
they
toonie.
need that hassle.
Yeah, exactly. You would think you're trying to make like, look
one
at me.
for each boob.
Yeah, exactly. These other jokers out here. I really like you, Miss Stripper or Miss Dancer. I gave you $2 instead of 1. These other jamokes are just throwing you $1 bills. I'm making it rain with 2s.
Wouldn't you just love to see her, like, her shoulders drop and go, oh, this is so inconvenient. Really?
Now I gotta cash these SOBs in, and I just heard from Mike and Molson that the tellers don't even want them.
Yeah, take it back to the bar, cash it for actual ones.
Exactly. Turn it back to please.
I'll give you 2 kisses. Shut up.
It's not a 2-for-1 special, sir. Knock it off. It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. We'll take our last break of the show. We come back. A unbelievable story involving a cat.
All right.
That's how we'll wrap up we go from strip clubs to cats.
And I'll tell you a little bit that it's National Hairball Awareness Day.
Oh, so good to know. Rolled all that into one here on WMAY.
This may well prove fascinating.
I was fascinated by this story. I hope you are as well. You, Johnny, and you, the listener.
Please.
It is Mike and Molson with you here on WMAY. So this cat, by the way, the cat's name is terrible. Can I just start off with that?
Is it a human name?
No, it's named Galena.
All right.
Who names a cat Galena?
I don't know.
That's a terrible name for the
Italian cat.
That I'm not quite sure. It's a cat from Utah. Galena left the house in Utah in a large box of shoes that her human daddy, they say, had sent out as a return to Amazon.
Whoops.
The cat was hiding in the box, which contained a pair of footwear, when it closed up, causing her to get sent out with the returns.
Wow. Cats love climbing in boxes, and so they didn't even look.
That's what they said. They said, well, the cat loves climbing in boxes, so it ends up being like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She wrapped her damn cat.
Right.
Galena's owner thoroughly searched their house and put up missing cat flyers in their community, completely unaware that old Galena had gone out with the Amazon return.
Oh, man. And the person at Amazon who had to open that box probably got clawed.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do to me?
Oh, I'm sure. And just cat urine all over the shoes and dumping because the cat's being thrown around and everything.
Yeah.
Nowhere along the process did anyone hear a meow from the return box.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A week after realizing their beloved pet had gone missing, Matt and Carrie, they're the humans that own Galena, got a call from someone with a surprise. Galena's microchip had been scanned in Riverside, California, 650 miles away from their house. And the chip's information happened to lead to the cat's owners. More specifically, an employee at an Amazon distribution station had found the feline in the Amazon package filled with the shoes and had sent in the return shipment. The employee, identified as Brandy, took care of Galena until she reunited with the family.
Hey, I guess, good news that Amazon's delivery is so efficient that the cat wasn't trapped for very long. I mean,
I guess
Amazon
that's true.
Seems
Yeah,
to get it,
the return.
Get it
well,
just
it was
in a day or so. But.
It was a week after realizing the cat was gone.
Right.
But I guess it was the shock from the employee opening the box, having the cat jump out, trying to coax the cat back, then taking care of the cat, finding out if the cat is chipped, getting in contact with the owners at that point.
And they gave it back to the owners?
Well, yes. Yes, they did. But how is my question. As soon as the owners got the quote-unquote insane news that Galena had been found in a box at the Amazon facility, the owners booked a flight to California. We're going to fly to get our cat back.
Sure.
During the shipping process, Galena unfortunately went without food and water for 6 days.
Good grief.
After our deal, the family is advocating for microchipping your pets and triple checking your Amazon boxes. So so they've got the cat back.
You can't have the cat back after you left it in a box and put it in the mail.
Well, they didn't know that Galena was in the box. That's the thing here's the thing that really gets me. It took that long for someone to realize a cat was in a box. I mean, how docile is that cat? I had 2 cats in my life, and just moving them across a town for like maybe 10-minute drive, it was like I was killing them and that they were running a marathon at the same time. The sounds were just awful.
Yeah. And some cats, though, I mean, they love hiding so much that it may have just been sitting there going, well, this is my life now. No one's going to find me, which is exactly what I wanted.
I'm going to sit here with these shoes.
Yeah, I guess this is where I live.
And I just can't imagine opening up a return package, being an Amazon worker, and a cat pops out. I don't know. I wonder how often that happens when it comes to
Amazon. Once.
In Amazon returns.
Yeah.
How many times they see. And I guess in the grand scheme of pets, better a cat than like someone's weird pet snake getting in there or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's pretty resilient that it made it that long.
For 6 days.
By the way, I'm sorry, I apologize that I didn't get you a greeting card or not, but April 26th, today, is National Hairball Awareness Day.
Did not realize that was a thing.
Well, you can put it on your calendar because it's always the last Friday in April,
Hey, okay, my bad. I didn't realize that.
Third Thursday is Thanksgiving in November.
Isn't it also like Arbor Day this week?
No, it's National Hairball Awareness Day, Mike.
Why should we be aware of the hairballs?
Aims to promote awareness of our pets' health and happiness. Predominantly a concern for cats, rabbits, cattle, hairballs are a healthy part of animals' routines, but can also be evidence of an underlying health issue. So we have all the info to help you care for your creatures on National Hairball Awareness Day.
Is there anything grosser than a hairball?
Yeah, I mean, I became aware of one yesterday morning when I stepped in it.
Ew. How was it recent or was it dried?
Sometimes
because the really recent ones are just it looks like alien larva.
Yeah,
and you're like, is
squishes.
Is that a mogwai that's turning into a gremlin? Did someone feed something after midnight?
And I know my cat isn't unique, but when it starts to cough up a hairball,
it's just,
you think, it's like, do I need to get you to the vet? Because you sound like you are in distress right now.
Oh, it's awful.
This is horrible.
It's an awful sound.
And there are times when they do that, and then there's nothing. There's like, you hear all this commotion, and you go, all right, where did he leave it this time?
It's like the human equivalent in that situations of sitting and thinking you got a big one, and then you just rip a giant one in the bowl, and that's all that's up there. It's like you thought you were going to wreck that thing, and it's like, oh, guess it's just gas. Yeah. Guess it was just a cat burp.
Yeah, man. But no, this yesterday was
squishy.
I know. I heard it in the middle of the night too, and I couldn't discern exactly. It was loud, so I didn't know where he was. I didn't know if he was next to me. I didn't know if he was in the basement. I mean, he was just so loud.
Yikes.
And yeah, sure enough, it's just like right in the
walkway there,
right in the doorway. Leaving my bedroom.
Oliver, come on.
And I mean, it was like a log.
Yeah,
it's like it fell off of a tree.
And you just look and you go, that should teach you not to lick yourself as much as you do.
God,
I understand it's part of your process. But come on now, cats. How many hairballs were inside that box, too?
Yeah, right.
6 days of just sitting there in a box.
A hairball is a small collection of hair that collects in the cat's stomach. When cats groom themselves, the barbs on their tongue catch loose or dead hair, much of which they swallow. Sometimes it gets lodged in the stomach. The cat will vomit it out to remove it from the system.
Yeah.
Blah.
Oh, I can't believe that's an actual holiday, that it's National Hairball Awareness Day.
I don't know why. We should have the day off work.
We should. You know what?
Say, where's the Springfield Hairball Parade that's supposed to happen downtown this time every year?
Just a bunch of cats, you hope, spit up on the streets.
Yeah, I want to say, who won Miss Hairball this year?
I think we know who won Miss Hairball.
Who's the Hairball Grand Marshal?
I think us now. Yeah. I think next year it's going to be a parade of just us.
Very disappointed.
It's a perfect day for it. It'll wash the streets already.
Very disappointed.
For National Hairball Awareness Day. Well, thank you for letting us know about that, Johnny.
So go celebrate your cat's hairball.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you keep them all and wait for next year. You can throw them up in the air. Yay! I'm aware of this gross thing that my cat just did.
Sorry, the bottom of the article. How to celebrate National Hairball Awareness Day. Comb for comfort. Treat your cat to something tasty. Do yoga with your cat.
What?
See?
You know how you celebrate National Hairball Day? You don't.
You don't, yeah. It's nothing to celebrate.
You hope you don't encounter one. Idiots. Yikes. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Don't forget, Mike and Molson, Too Good for Radio podcast. New episode later on today.
Coming up.
Yes, so be looking for that. Johnny, thank you for the time. And good luck with 39 steps this weekend at the Hoagland. Break a leg.
Come see it.
Yes, please do. ABC.